And now we're live. Okay.
Hello, world.
Hello, Internet.
Oh, hi. I didn't notice you there.
Let me retweet this stuff here. Thankfully, I didn't misspell episode again. It's one word I just always have problems spelling.
Whoa, what? Oh my gosh. I gotta stop spoiling myself on these TV shows. Sorry. Someone just posted something crazy.
Oh.
So. You guys watch Arrow at all?
No.
No. Then it won't mean anything.
I've had too many games to play this month. Too much TV.
I've been working too much. I haven't had a chance to watch anything.
Yeah, I have like 8 games, at least 3 or 4 of which I've played a whole bunch.
Jeez, I only have 3 games.
I don't even know how I managed to get time to play those. I had a 60-hour week last week and a 50-hour week the week before.
Wow.
9 games. And I think I left some out just to be nice.
We don't really have any... We don't have any tweets or emails, and we don't really have any news stories, so at least the front half will be crowded.
Don't be nice about it, Mina. Just take us to town.
Yeah. Alrighty, you guys ready to start this thing?
Oh, right. Let me post the streaming link.
Okay.
I will retweet you.
Let's close that out. Close that out. Retweet. Okay, I'm good.
Alrighty, let me move that thing around. Okay. Alright, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of Picking Up the Pixels. I'm your host, Boston. Going around the horn, we got Musum.
Hello.
And we have Mina.
Hi.
And we're back for yet another month of fun RPG biz. So let's get started. I don't think we have anything to talk about at the top, so let's get started here with Musum. What have you been playing?
Let's see. Trying to think about where to start.
That's sort of a good problem to have.
I guess I'll start where I left off last time. Because last time I was complaining about Shadowrun's Dragonfall not having a character importer, and I literally checked like a couple hours later that day, and someone had already made a mod for it.
Yes.
Thank you, Internet.
Yeah, pretty much. So Shadowrun's Dragonfall is really good. It's not like the first Shadowrun campaign was pretty linear. It was pretty. It was linear. It was gritty. It had a very film noir cyberpunk story to tell. This one is more of a you walk in. Yeah.
Oh, technical problems. We'll be right back. I need to find one of those technical issues images so I can just I just throw it up.
Rotating around saying,
yeah.
Check 1, 2.
There you are.
Is this thing working? And I am recording. Okay.
All right.
Sorry, guys. I need a new mixer. Okay. So, Shadowrun's Dragonfall. The new one is very like the story sets up that you have a friend call you in from town to go on a run with her. She dies during the run, and then you get elected to take her place as leader, which is also partially why she brought you in. and that happens in like the first 20 minutes of the game. So I'm not really spoiling anything. And from there, it's kind of up to you to how you want to shape this community they stick you in, because this whole community is kind of your support place. You have several guys who will give you bonuses for doing extra things on missions for them. One of which is most definitely evil. You have like a gosh, they have factions kind of everywhere around town. You have this old orc troll guy. I'm not really sure what he is, but he's half robot now because his body's been obliterated mostly in the war. Just hanging around town, that'll tell you war stories. You have an active rights group for metahumans, particularly goblins and orcs hanging out, and they're really nice guys too. It's kind of funny, but it's a pretty lengthy campaign. Playing through it though, as much as I like the writing and the vibe of Shadowrun, I've come to the conclusion that the game is just not balanced worth anything. Because like playing through with my character that I had already played through the original campaign twice with, there were a couple missions towards the end that were actually pretty difficult, and I can't imagine doing that with a fresh recruit. Even with all the negative things I've said about the adept class in the game, kind of once you get enough hit points to withstand some attacks, and you get enough dodge points to be able to dodge the occasional attack, and you get your magic fist and your magic boot so you can run everywhere, you're kind of, I mean, those are kind of the necessary components of the class. So I kind of wish they started you out with a bonus to all of those things when you chose that class, instead of just starting you out dry like you're going to use a gun or something.
Yeah.
But they made all new music for it. The save system works great. I used it several times.
About how long have you finished it?
Yeah, I beat it.
About how long was it?
Probably, gosh, it had to have been at least 8 hours.
Oh, that's not bad.
Like it's a good, like the original campaign's like 8 to 12 hours, and this one's just as long. And I didn't do one of the runs because one of the runs sounded kind of immoral, and I wasn't really playing a evil character, so
Yeah.
or maybe even evil wouldn't be the word, but indifferent character. But it's kind of a take the story at your own pace type thing, in that you get like basically they run you through like one or two missions, and then they say, here's a computer console, here are the contacts we have, feel free to go make your own too, and just choose what you want to do, and once we get this amount of money, then we'll go on the final mission.
Oh, nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's funny because when you get the money for the final mission is like hours long. It is multiple levels, multiple stages,
Wow.
multiple story beats. Like I thought it would just be okay, we go to the final dungeon. It's not that at all. But it's really good. I recommend it.
How much was it?
It was free with the Kickstarter thing, but I think you can buy them both for like $20 or $30 total.
Let me pull it up. I think it's pretty reasonably priced.
Yeah, you get a lot of game, and as long as I think the main thing you have to like is cyberpunk noir and kind of a system kind of like XCOM that's nowhere near as balanced. But at the same time, you aren't worried about people dying and never seeing them again.
Yeah, the main game is $20. The expansion is $15, and then they have some weird upgrade to deluxe something thing that they got going on here. So that's a lot of high quality game for about $35.
Yeah, I really thought they had to buy them both in one pack. That was less than that, but
yeah, maybe on the actual DLC page. I'm not sure.
Okay, but yeah,
someone in chat, Dimebag315 in chat says, "Hey, did you guys see FTL on iOS?" Yeah, I haven't tried that out yet. I haven't even tried out the update. I don't know if either one of you have. No.
Nope.
Not yet. I haven't had a chance yet. I was hoping to buy it on iOS, but it's $10, and we're trying to buy a house, so that's kind of mutually exclusive.
Yeah, I don't know. I like FTL, but I'm kind of hoping to talk Susie into buying it so I don't have to, so I can just watch her play it and say, "Oh man, that looked cool," and then
Yeah.
never play it. Um, let's see. Oh crap! And I forgot a game off this list. Well, let's talk about RPG of the year right now. South Park.
Oh yeah.
Maybe not with the Persona games coming out, but
Yeah.
man, that game was really good.
So have you finished it?
I did.
And Mina, did you
Okay,
finish it
good.
too?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so did I. So we won't. It's still new enough that we won't really talk about spoilers, but we'll kind of talk broad strokes about it. So if you haven't started it yet, you first off you should probably do that, and second off, we will try not to spoil anything. Plus, a lot of it is not really podcast friendly. So
Yeah. This won't be the only game that's going to be difficult to talk about on
yeah.
this podcast. But man, so I chose a thief. What'd you guys choose?
Thief.
Warrior.
Man, thief was awesome. Like with the backstabbing, like,
The
and then you get
bleed.
mug and you just go and clock someone in the knee.
Jeez, man, I should have picked Thief. Warrior was
take
pretty
this.
cool. It was primarily focused on just a lot of really big, very strong attacks, which I kind of didn't use throughout the entire game. I really didn't use any special attacks throughout much of the entire game because you didn't really need to.
Oh wow, I lived off of special
That's
attacks.
same here.
Oh yeah, no, the warrior did just such strong standard attacks that I really used them maybe a handful of times and said, well, whatever, I'm okay. I keep smacking them with a sword.
Man, I really enjoyed how all the characters played almost completely different from each other in that game.
Oh yeah,
Because I thought there would be, like, when you encountered the NPCs, that there would be equivalents of those running around, but none of them ever really seemed to match up with anyone.
Yeah.
Because I've watched Susie play her mage, and her mage didn't look anything like Cartman, and as far as combat abilities go.
wow.
I mean, granted, I could be mistaken, but they all seem pretty different.
Yeah.
And I imagine your fighter didn't really play much like Stan, did he?
No, they were both pretty different and played a lot different from Butters too.
Man. Yeah, Butters is the best.
Yeah,
Oh my
Butter-
god. Yeah, I was about
Butters
to say
is
he's
great.
my favorite.
Yeah.
There, little buddy.
Have an ability that heals you for free.
Yeah. Oh
Um,
man.
Kenny was great too with his special abilities, which I won't spoil, but
Yeah.
man, I love that you can also see pictures for the was it the coon or whatever it was, and
Yeah, all over town.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty
man,
great.
what just a surprisingly outstanding game. I
It's you know
I really like.
I
We
ha-
don't have enough RPGs that have that Super Mario RPG style battle system.
well, and it's just head to toe, it's a great game.
Yeah.
Like, I think the only thing I could really complain about is it took me most of the game to figure out that I could fart on the rats to make them go away.
Yeah, that tooltip didn't pop up until like 20 hours into the game, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do to get through this stuff? And it's like, oh, just use fart magic on him. And I was like, oh, I could have done that like 15 hours ago.
Yeah, I had to Google.
Oh yeah.
Man,
So what did you
Yeah.
what platform did you guys play it on? I played on PC myself.
PC.
PS3.
Okay. How did it run on PS3? It was beautiful and smooth on PC.
For the most part, it was beautiful and smooth, but the later I got in the game, the more frame rate drops it would get. Like,
Oh,
just
weird.
when you're walking around town.
Hmm.
It's really weird and random. Did not get frame rate drops in Canada, though.
Interesting.
Conspiracy. But,
Yeah.
man, Canada was pretty great.
Yeah,
I agree with everyone.
I'm definitely not spoiling that, but yeah, that was a very, very special segment there.
It's so hard to talk about the game, like, without spoiling anything, because anyone who's a South
tried.
Park fan should just go play it. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I think, I said it a couple times on TVGP, and I'll say it here, that not only is it a really solid RPG, it's another really great Obsidian game where thankfully they had the time and the money to kind of squash as many bugs as possible. But it's also a really good South Park game. It's really, all the humor is there. The writing is great, like normal, and it's basically like a 20-something hour South Park episode, which is really great. And other Jay Z said, 20 hours. I beat it in twice in that time. I have a problem with most RPGs where I have to do everything that you possibly can. So a lot of it was wandering around town or talking to everybody and doing every single side mission.
yeah. If you can't find something in that game, it takes a long, long time to figure out where in the heck it is.
Yeah.
Like a lot of those hunts in the game, I had to Google to freaking figure out where to go for them.
Yeah.
I refused to Google, and that's what made me take forever, was that I'm just wandering around hoping I'd figure it out on my own, but
Yeah, some of
I
those
probably didn't.
were weird, and I don't think I googled. I think I googled one of them, and I was just like, I don't. I guess I would have run through that across that eventually, but I don't. I don't really know.
Well, and like, I had to Google the one in the sewers. I had to Google the stupid freaking cow, which would have been much more hilarious if I hadn't wandered around the farm for hours on end looking for whatever the heck I was supposed to click on.
Yeah, the sewers were kind of a pretty bad area. The other Jay Z in chat actually asked a really good question. He said, "I'm probably going to be a pariah by asking this, but if you take the jokes out, isn't it basically just one of the penny arcade games?" Yeah, I mean, I only played episodes 1 and 2, which were both really good. I still haven't gotten to 3 and 4 yet. But yeah, you're right. The first the two Hothead penny arcade games are essentially the same. And I feel like both of those games are very dependent on whether or not you like that type of humor. Like, if you don't like South Park humor, don't go anywhere near Stick of Truth, because it's still South Park. You may be able to enjoy the battle system, but the humor is just soaking in all of this, like, 20 years of South Park humor, that it's almost impossible to separate itself from. But same with the penny arcade game. If you don't really enjoy the penny arcade humor, or at least penny arcade humor from, what was it, 3-4 years ago, you probably won't enjoy the majority of what those games have to offer. But penny arcade episode 1 and 2 are both really, really good. Yeah, no, Musim. This show.
Poor Musim.
Oh, is it working now?
There you are.
Your voice is back.
Okay.
And video is working its way back.
Yay.
There you are.
So glad I didn't have to reboot my router. Okay.
Yeah. So for South Park, I kind of don't know what else to talk about, because almost immediately you get into some pretty serious spoilers. But
Yeah.
just a really surprisingly great, solid RPG, and thankfully kind of a finally a universally recognized great Obsidian game. So you can say, like, yes, Obsidian games, if you give them the right time and money, maybe that is 8 years, like the other Jay-Z said in chat. But if you give them what they need, they come out with a game that will be universally loved.
Well, and 15 years ago, I mean, the work they did with BioWare, most of that stuff's pretty universally loved.
That's true.
But it has been a long, long time.
Yeah.
And they've been, the last few they brought out, the press really beat down on them.
Yeah. Ever since KOTOR 2, they've kind of had a hard time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else about South Park? I feel like on our...
I don't want to spoil any.
I feel like
I don't want to spoil it either.
I feel like we've been talking about it for a month or so anyway, but kind of came out at a weird time.
Yeah, like immediately after the last podcast.
Yeah.
It did.
It's very good. You should go get it.
Yeah. Played a little bit of Warframe. Surprise, surprise. Have all the primes now, or all the frames now, and they have not released the melee patch. It's supposed to come out next week.
I was about
I look,
to ask.
look forward to it. They the latest dev stream, they were talking about how they were concerned that they were ripping off Devil May Cry too much, and I was like, you probably don't actually mean that, but that really gets me excited. The idea that they could like shove Devil May Cry in this game, like it probably wouldn't work very well, but I don't know. I'm ready for it, but I've talked this game to death. So, played the Borderlands 2 Turkey mission again.
Oh yeah.
Waddle
Actually,
Gobbler.
Meg and I played the Christmas one, the Thanksgiving one, and the Halloween one. We started the Valentine's Day one, but it bugged out.
Mm.
But man, you're right. That Thanksgiving one is just so on spot. I really don't want to spoil the thing it plays homage to, but man, if you go
Yeah,
into that without knowing what that DLC is going to do, it's a pretty good ride for about an hour.
yeah. Did you do the raid level quest at the end?
No, you know what? I started it and it got to the point where you have to go and defeat somebody to get an item, and I defeated 2 out of the 3 people that spawned, and the third one spawned outside of the world, so I couldn't defeat them, and I wasn't gonna sit through that story again.
Man.
It's a
Yeah.
really funny joke, though. A really,
Yeah.
really funny joke that they stick with for probably about a half an hour long. That I thought they were longer than I thought they were going to.
Pretty sure there's one after that that is even longer.
Oh man, just a really great joke.
Yeah. So
But
that,
each one of
I
those
love
DLC pieces is actually really good. I think they're only like $2 or $3. They're a huge download each one because each one just changes. It's not like, oh, it's a Christmas one and you're in this deserty area. Like all of the art assets are totally different, and all the missions are different. Brand new voice acting for everyone, and at the end of it, it just spews loot at you. We were playing on normal, so I mean we weren't really going to get anything worthwhile. But if you play on the harder difficulties, I mean that that seems like a pretty good time. And it's more Borderlands, kind of a bite-sized, fun-sized Borderlands DLC pack.
Yeah. So how was the Christmas one?
Christmas one was really good. I think that one, I feel like that one and the Halloween one were both the ones that were the most different. The Thanksgiving one, it kind of looks like some of the industrial areas of Borderlands 2
Oh.
already. But the Halloween one looks really great. There's some areas that kind of look like some of the crypt areas of Borderlands 2, but the uh, the Christmas one is totally like it's all these giant evergreen trees with snow everywhere, and this whole big town that has all these stereotypically Christmassy look to them. There's a bunch of really good voice acting for this play that a bunch of people put on. It's really a lot of work went into something that's like an hour and it's $3.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, it's like the Halloween one. It's neat looking, but it doesn't have a lot of like story content or entertainment other than shoot stuff.
Yeah,
So I was really hoping it would fall more along the lines of the Waddle Gobbler.
yeah, yeah. It was pretty
So
good. The Yeah, the Halloween one is probably the one I liked the least, even though I still really liked it. It was just kind of it's not nearly as bad as the Halloween DLC from Borderlands 1. There's no let's collect 5 million brains.
oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yay!
But there was one collection mission that was just sort of like, I had to go all the way around here to go get this other thing. It's just sort of like, come
Yeah.
on, I don't want to do this. But it's only an hour, so whatever.
Well, it needed Ned and Zed, or whichever one was the Halloween one with the mustache.
Yeah, yeah, whichever one it was, I don't remember. There's three Eds, so
Because that joke to me never gets old.
yeah, yeah. There were some pretty good jokes on the Halloween one.
Okay. Did you have anything else on Borderlands 2?
No, just waiting for. I think there's one more DLC pack, the one where it's Sir Hammerlock versus the son of Cromrax. I think that still hasn't come out yet. I think they've said that that's the absolute final one that they're putting out for Borderlands 2. So
I liked how Gearbox came out and said, "Yeah, we're not even working on Borderlands 3 yet."
yeah, they're like, look, we're still working on Borderlands 2, guys. Like, come on.
They got to be kind of burnt out on Borderlands, so I actually would appreciate it if they gave us like a year 3 break.
Yeah, give us another couple of years, because I think all three of us have really squeezed the maximum amount of Borderlands 2, and I would kind of like a handful of years just to. They need to give me 3 years or so where they're like, all right, Borderlands 3 is coming. I want to get to the point where I'm sort of like, okay, yeah, Borderlands 3. All right, let's do more of this again. Okay.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else did I play? Played a little bit of Torchlight 2. Played a little bit further with my engineer. Nothing really too much to speak of. I finally, like, the way I've been playing Torchlight 2 is I've just been leveling up like about 3 or 4 powers the whole time.
Yeah.
Or maybe 5 powers. I'm trying to remember. Let me think. I have 2 robots, and I have 2 powers, and then I have 1 aura thing. So, because I want all the tier bonuses, but I'm afraid of stretching out too much and making all my powers worthless by taking on too many.
Yeah.
But I finally just said, screw it. I'm tired of using these 2 powers and branched out and got 2 more. Still really enjoying that game. Like, I got these little spider mines now that run at people. I got a dash attack, which is pretty nice. Sorry, I got distracted by the chat antics.
It's if you guys aren't watching the live stream, it's very pun-tastic in the chat right now.
Yeah. My type of world. And then me and some friends got together and I made a new character. I made a berserker. And that class is actually really, really fun. It's like I've been lying to myself, telling myself that my friends are going to play again, and I'll just play this berserker with them. And I think I just need to go play the berserker by myself, because I can summon like spirit wolf things to attack people, and
see, then you can guilt your friends and say like, I'm just going to keep playing. Like, I'm level 15. You guys left me at 10. I mean, if you guys, I can pull you through this content. I'm more than happy to go back and play. But you gotta meet me halfway here.
Yeah. I'll bring my wolves. I made my character look like Storm from the 80s with like the white mohawk and
nice
stuff.
Well, and also Storm from the 2014. She got the mohawk again.
Oh yeah, that's how she should be.
Yeah.
I
cool
now
stuff.
that I've now that
Oh no,
Musum, no. This show just
poor them.
fraught with technical difficulties. Oh, now you're back.
crown, I got my first piece of the thing. What the heck do you get? What do you collect in that game that you got to get from the B levels in
You
that game?
dropped out for about 30 seconds. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh.
We'll fix it in post.
Damn you, internet!
So which game is this?
Dragon's Crown.
Oh, Dragon's Crown. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Played a tiny bit more of that. Got the first piece of the
Oh, those
amulet, the crown.
the egg-looking things, the jewel things.
Yeah, sure.
Those things.
The thing you get from the bee runs.
Yeah.
Uh,
Let's just call it Dragon's Crowns.
yeah, sure. Did that. Didn't do much more. I meant to keep doing that, and then a bunch of other stuff released, and I started playing that. Played a tiny bit of Shin Megami Tensei on iOS.
Oh, yeah, I bought that. I haven't started it at all, though.
Well, and it's... Let me see if I can get my phone up here. Like, if you look at your phone, Like, to see the controller on the screen, that means the game screen takes up about an inch on the top
Yeah.
of your screen.
Oh, Tenchi
Exactly.
Hawkwing, which fantastic name by the way. In chat says the word we're thinking about for Dragon's Crown is jewels. Yes,
Ah,
that is
okay.
that is the incredibly common word that all three of us forgot.
Jewels.
Jewels,
I don't
yes.
know what you speak of. um, anyway, so Shin Megami Tensei, I'm barely anywhere in. I probably shouldn't even talk about it yet, but I started a character and he's having a dream and he walks through a hall and he's like, "You see a angelic figure on a cross or something like that or whatever."
Yeah.
And me being the horrible person I am, I'm like, I'm gonna name him Jesus. And then
It is an SMT game, so they would probably get there
Okay.
by themselves anyway.
yeah. And then I ran into the next, which is some demonic figure, and I thought, I don't want to type in Lucifer, so I called him Lucy.
There you go.
Yeah. And then they joined my party, and so now I have a guy named Jesus running up to me and telling me, "We gotta go here and escape." And then,
Calm down, Jesus.
yeah, it was pretty great. Yeah, and that game is I'm probably never ever going to beat. It's just going to be something I randomly play on my phone every once in a while because I have not figured out how to successfully navigate a demon conversation because you only have like two conversation options.
I
You can.
I wanted to bring up that demon conversation thing because I bought this as well. You can pick the same exact options and get different results.
I feel
Yeah,
like
I've noticed that
that's-
too.
I feel like that's how SMT games work for me. And you guys are saying this, and I'm like, yeah, hasn't that happened to me in SMT4? Or am I just is my brain remembering things wrong?
Well, it's normally how it works is they have personality types. They'll have like Persona 1 and 2, like you had about 5 different demon personality types. And you just had to recognize which text dialogue it was giving you so you could respond appropriately.
Oh,
But you
yeah.
Right.
you had a bunch of options in Persona 1 and 2 to respond to them. I don't remember how it went in Nocturne, but I got them all.
Yeah, I think SMT4 was the same as Persona 1 and 2, where if someone's coming in and they're screaming, they're probably pretty angry already, so you kind of
Right.
have a good idea of where to start.
Well, in this one, you literally only have 2 options, and it's really frustrating that I can't get any of them to work.
Weird.
I don't think I have any demons so far.
What were you trying to befriend?
I tried a fairy.
Pixie?
Pixie.
I tried Pixie 9, 10 times. I've been rotating around on that conversation. This is why I noticed that there was no pattern. Like I'd be nice or I'd be mean, and I'm like, which way do you want it, Pixie? I need to know. I really want
I
you
just
on
wanna
my
be
team
your
'cause I know
friend.
you have Dia. I know you have Dia.
Yeah.
Gotta have at least one demon on my team. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily you have. Luckily I had Jesus and Lucy backing me up, but or at least I had Jesus. I don't think I found Lucy yet.
I haven't. I know. I just got not Lucy. I just got him. So that's mine's not Lucy.
I normally don't. I normally just go with whatever the default names is on characters, but I don't know. Yeah, that game's weird. I don't know what to think about it. I'm not entirely sure how to navigate it, and like because I've run into Pixie, I've run into like 3 or 4 other demon types too by now, and have had just no luck in recruiting anything. And I have a feeling I'm about to go fight a boss, and I really don't want to fight a boss
Yeah.
with no powers. But it's at the same time, like, you don't seem to be quite as helpless if you don't have demons in this game as you are in every single other SMT game. But
Yeah.
The boss you're about to go in and face, he may roll you.
SMT.
Like,
Got
because
it.
I grinded a whole ton before I got to him, and he one shot both my guys.
Wow.
oh
So
my gosh. Okay.
So the way I actually beat him was I eventually made I eventually befriended one of the demons out there that can take a beating. I can't remember which demon it was. I managed to befriend him, and he, for whatever reason, became like the number one target of the boss, and I just RNG'd my way to victory.
The real SMT starts here.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
does.
Oh, geez, yeah. That's okay. I'll keep that in mind. I won't even bother going up there unless I get a demon or two.
Did you look at any guides on this game at all for stat distribution?
No. I think it mainly putting my points into like magic and agility.
Okay. So like your main character, he does not benefit very much from magic, if I remember correctly. Uh, Jesus, he really benefits from magic, and Lucy doesn't really benefit from that much from magic. But I actually went to find a guide because after I got myself rolled so hard, I went back and looked at what sort of stats it recommends. And it's like you probably really want to look at this stat chart for your first time, or you're not going to have a very good time with this game.
Oh yeah.
Vitality or stamina or whatever it is pretty awesome and important because it gives you all the HP and defense. So it's pretty that's pretty important at the beginning of the game. And there is a cap basically that you reach. So you can't exactly disperse all your points into everything. So you're going to have something not filled out. Whatever the female character, whatever you named her, I named her Mina. I don't even know what her default name is. She is all the way magic. Like, you fill her intelligence and magic all the way in. And she's glass cannon.
Okay, maybe I'll just go start over.
Yeah.
Because I totally did that the opposite. I'm like, okay, Jesus is going to be my damage dealer. Just because I want to be obnoxious. And I just come off of playing South Park. And Lucy will be my magic caster. I don't remember what I set up the female to be. Oh well. Maybe I didn't set her up. I don't remember what I named her.
She just starts with Zeo maybe, or I don't know. He starts with a magic spell pretty early, and that's actually pretty important for a lot of bosses in the early parts of the game because magic does insane amounts of damage, and you just want him casting that spell over and over and over and just hopefully winning by the skin of your teeth.
Yeah.
Yes,
SMT.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. It's neat seeing the original game, but we'll see how much I actually play it.
Yeah, it's kind of nice that they brought it out in really any fashion. But I think unless you're a super hardcore SMT fan, you've probably already played it anyway in some form or fashion.
That's true.
But I think for most people, I think it's, oh, that's really cool. All right, moving on.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
So, are you pretty far into the beginning of it then?
I got the I just met the third guy, and I'm trying to think of what I was actually up to next. I'm pretty sure the game is actually wanting me to go to some park or something, and I've just been kind of grinding outside because I just kind of got the new guy, and he's behind in levels, so I've been trying to get them all evened out and get some equipment because they're running around without any equipment on.
By the way,
Probably
you know about the fiends in the original SMT games, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know that if you run into one, hope that you saved recently and that you can run away.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
no, I've been steadily saving and yeah, because I've been getting myself rolled, and there's a lot that goes into this game, and I've been actually following the guide pretty closely because I've been kind of depending on it to tell me where to go. And
If you actually want to beat the game, that's probably the way to do it.
Yeah.
you know, It's telling me make sure you distribute these stats like this. You know, you want to make sure you evenly distribute the health and damage here evenly, so that way you don't get killed. I would recommend that if you actually do want to play or beat SMT on your phone, should probably look up a guide. I'm using the Game FAQs one. Um, it's pretty solid, and so far it's helped me. But the only thing it doesn't really do a good job of explaining, because it doesn't seem quite sure, is the negotiating. And me and the guide are both looking at each other like, I don't know how to get this pixie to join us. We've
Yeah.
tried.
Just hope for the best.
Man. Yeah, these like when Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne came out, they brought out one of those really great guides for it, but in it they kind of talked about one of the big deals in 3 was that they were bringing the fiends in that you could actually get into your party. And evidently in previous games, like literally just in certain areas, there would be like less than 1% of a chance for one of these fiends to show up. And when they did, they were so much stronger than anything else in the game that everyone just was automatically either slaughtered or, just had no chance of beating it. But it always sounded like a really cool, if not jerk move, like mystery thing in the game,
Yeah.
But okay. I also played. I had a work trip, and so I prepared for it and went ahead and bought Final Fantasy XHD on Vita.
Oh yeah.
I've never played Final Fantasy X before, so this is an entirely new experience for me. I was really, really enjoying it until I had to do the Jex shot, and then I had to reload a whole bunch because I couldn't do the Jex shot for some reason. And I looked up online and realized that, I just have to do this really fast.
Yeah. When you're learning it on a ship.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a weird part, because it's sort of like ready to go, and you're like, do what? And it's like, do this, go, 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 go. And it's like, what? What?
Yeah, like, I don't know. It tries to communicate what it's going to do for you, but a lot of Final Fantasy games do that.
Yeah, and that game has some kind of minor translation problems anyway, so it's a little weird.
And then I had to play Blitzball for the first time, which was a nightmare.
Yeah, and I love Blitz. So I've also been playing Final Fantasy X HD, and I'm 55 hours into it, and I'm doing all of the optional end stuff, and
I'm there with you.
yeah, and I absolutely adore Blitzball, and I feel like I'm the only person that's like, yeah, let's play more Blitzball. Woo!
No, I've been playing it too.
Yes. Yeah, I've been
the
seeing
deal.
Mina. You've been live streaming a bunch, and I haven't had a chance to watch it. But yeah, I just. Oh, go ahead.
Here's my problem with Blitzball, and it isn't necessarily Blitzball itself. My problem with Blitzball is the first time you have to play Blitzball, you're given this giant tutorial, like a 20-item menu that you have to read through to learn this thing.
Yep.
And then an hour later, in the game, you get to go play it against the freaking most
The fastest, strongest team. Yeah.
Team.
It's
the biggest.
It's
jerks
okay
in the
if you
world.
lose that first game. There's
not
no
okay.
shame in it.
Because they're jerks.
Yeah.
And after 4 or 5 hours, I finally beat them.
Yes.
Out of pure luck. I had to reload and get the Jex shot. And then I went back and then somehow lucked out. Like, I used the Jex shot in the first round, and then they scored a point on me. And I'm like, well, now I'm screwed.
Yeah.
And then somehow I got Waka to score a point.
So the
and
thing,
it might be a really fun game. I just hate the learning part.
So here's the thing that I can recommend, because Blitzball is so easy to break if you have Jex shot. Always pass to Titus and get him close enough to the goal that you're more than likely going to beat the goalie's catch value. And don't forget, catch value is like plus or minus 20% usually. And Jex shot, when you use it, it knocks out 2 of the people that you're breaking against. So if you have 2 people against you, don't even break against them. It will knock both of them out as you shooting the Jex shot. So if you have 3 people, break to one of them, and then it'll automatically knock out the other 2.
Yeah.
And once you get that down, at that point it's really just leveling up your goalie or keeping the ball away from your goal and just check shotting over and over. I played the other night and I had Titus score 7 times in one match. Like
Holy crap!
at some point it just
Yeah.
you're even against the Ronsos who have just such insane stats. It's not even a big thing. But the first couple of games are really, really tough. And it's okay if you lose because you should still be getting experience points and leveling up your team.
Musim, are you still in Luca at all? Or
No, I am. Where am I? I have. I'm just gonna forget everything now. I got Orin in my team. We just walked down a really, really, really long path that I almost died on because all of a sudden the enemies got
Yeah, like
surprisingly.
for
are
real strong.
you
Yeah,
on the high road or?
Sounds like it.
I just ran into a bunch of chocobo knights.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're on the high road. Okay, just letting you know, there something that'll make Blitzball really easy if you want to go back into Blitzball is get a new goalie. Because I hate Keepa.
Oh,
Uh,
Keepa's my man. Oh man.
he gets better later on, but if you want to make it easier on yourself, there is one goalie in Luca. He's sitting on a bench nearby the pillar thing, and then there's another goalie after you ride the shoe puff, I think.
That sounds
I
right.
can't remember his name, but there's another goalie there. And honestly, if you get a goalie replacement, and even if it's just to wait until your other party members level up, he'll be able to catch all the balls coming from the opponent's team while you work on leveling up your team.
Yeah.
It'll make things really easy.
Mm.
Yeah,
That would be
someone has
nice.
a really good guide online that you can get like 4 party members at that point that are all pretty good. And if not, you can wait
Yeah,
until the end and then you'll be able to
just
get
pick them
pretty
all up.
much.
Should I even be messing with the blitzball stuff right now? Because I was kind of thinking of just waiting until it hits that moment in the Final Fantasy game where it's like, here's the final dungeon, but you should go do all your side stuff.
So that moment is in full effect in this game. So basically, I got to that point in about 30 hours, and then the rest of it can be like 70 hours if you want to platinum it. You may want to because there's Waka's overdrives are part of winning matches and leagues in Blitzball, but
Yep.
some of them only show up after you've had Waka in 450 battles. So you don't have to do it now. It'll make it easier later, but it'll be easier later if you just get the best team. So you don't have to do it at all. There's a trophy for getting all of Waka's reels, they're called. But you don't have to do them for a good long time if you don't want to.
Mm. Okay. What sphere grid did you guys pick, by the way?
Standard. Not even messing with expert.
See, I was looking around online and it said this stuff was closer together on expert, so I was like, well, why
It
wouldn't I
is.
do that? But
The thing with expert is you can actually make the game really hard on yourself
Yep.
by choosing the wrong paths. If you're careful and look ahead at what you're doing, you wouldn't have that much of a problem. Everything's closer together, so what that means is they've removed a lot of the HP spheres, so you don't get as much HP in this game, which isn't really a big deal.
Yeah, that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, because you'll be killing harder, or you'll be killing faster, and it's just not necessary. But what's really odd is that my unit is doing 5,000 some magic damage right
Yeah.
now, and Lulu's doing 1,000 some, and I don't even bring Lulu out anymore.
Yeah, it's weird because in expert you can really quickly turn Yuna into just this absolute monster powerhouse, and Lulu's in the back just sort of like, okay, I guess I won't do
It's
anything.
It's really odd because thank you, JC. Oh my gosh. Uh Yuna does Yuna follows the white mage, or I made her go on the white mage path and learn all the cure spells. But on her path are a lot of magic up spots. So her magic was going up,
Oh,
and when I had her wrap around Lulu's black mage path, just so that way she could grab 4 spells and then loop back into the next section of the white mage tree, because everything kind of connects
yeah.
and everything. When she wrapped around and grabbed those spells at the same time Lulu did, she was already 1,000 damage more than her. And then as she went back to the white mage path, now she's 4,000 damage more than her. And I just can't bring Lulu out anymore when she can't kill things.
Yeah, I went with the standard grid because I hadn't played it. I played Final Fantasy X and beat it without any of the optional stuff back when it came out on PS2, and I started the game at the first time with the expert grid, and I felt like I didn't remember enough about each kind of class in Final Fantasy X with the expert grid, because everyone starts kind of on top of each other, and then you just basically, you want Kamari to go down Riku's path, great, he just needs to hop over a couple spheres.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you're starting Final Fantasy X for the first time and you don't want to do a lot of research on it, standard grid is probably good. Expert grid certainly isn't going to hurt you, but you'll have to do some more research on kind of how to set up certain characters. Let's be honest, minor spoilers here. There's a fight with Kamari about the halfway point in the game where it's just him. Most people really aren't using Kamari through, let's be generous and say, the entire game. So at that point, it can be a real big problem if you haven't given Kamari at least a little bit of health and a little bit of damage.
And make sure that Kamari knows Steel, because he's the only person in that fight, and I believe it's a level 3 sphere lock key thing that he can steal.
Yep. And if you want to
And
get the trophy for learning, those bosses have 10 out of the 12 things you can learn in the game.
Wow. Yeah, I've just been trying to attack everyone with that absorb skill thing with Kamari when I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, that one,
That's it.
there's only 10 or 12 abilities, and if you miss any, you can get all of them at the end of the game through the monster arena. So
Oh
if you miss
man,
any,
that
it
is
really doesn't matter.
that is really nice of them. I don't think they've ever done that in a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, there's only... Okay, so for anyone, there's only one thing that's missable in this game, and that's the 4 Al-Bhed primers. You assume you haven't gotten
Yeah.
to the point yet where you'll need them, but there are 4 almost in the same exact area. 3 are in home, and 1 is in the area right after that. Please, please, please go look up the locations of all 4 of those. They are minor spoilers, but if you don't get those 4, you can't get that trophy, and you can't... All the other ones you can get later on, but please go look them up, because it's not worth starting the game all over to get that trophy.
Gotcha.
And those
I
are
got
the
one
only
of 'em.
missable things in that game.
Yeah. And
I got one of the Albed letter things.
Yep.
I
they're
have no idea
they're
where I got it though.
they're kind of hidden if you're not paying attention on the screen, because they're usually like this tiny little booklet box thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you definitely don't want to miss the ones that Boston's talking about, because you never go back to that place again. So
Yeah, and I was using
Ah.
a guide, and I missed all 3 of them in one area at the beginning. I was like, okay, rolling back to another save.
I've been making a lot of saves on this game too. I'm up to like 5 or 6 right now, and I normally only use 1 save on a game.
Yeah,
So-
those are the only things you can miss in this game. Everything else you can go back to get. They do block some stuff behind some super bosses in the game.
Yeah.
Once you get the airship at the very end, but there's kind of ways around them that aren't totally obnoxious. If you're like me, and you... Hopefully you're not like me, and you aren't vastly under-leveled for where you are at the game. But
I don't. Gosh, that game system's so weird because you don't like. You don't have a level. You just have your grid.
yeah,
Right.
I made some... Let's say I made some poor choices, and did not level anyone. And there's a 3-phase boss battle right before you get the airship, which is one of the layers of hell. And it is a boss that will zombify your entire party, and if they're not zombies, will one-shot kill them. And the only way I got through that was to get someone armor that has zombie-proof and death-proof on it, and then managed to cheese my way through that battle. But I have had to do a lot of grinding lately just to get myself back up to... but I've also been doing the... capturing 10 of every monster in every area, so that's helped me to do that. Because I'm crazy.
They even have monster capturing in this game.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's so crazy because there's so much in this game, and there's just, especially at the end of the game, you can get to the end of the game within about 30 hours. And they'll be like, alright, final boss is over there, good luck. But also, you can do everything in the world, and there's so much stuff to do in the world. And I forgot how much, let's be honest, I forgot how much I didn't like Final Fantasy X. I don't like any of the characters or the story or anything, but man, that battle system and the sphere grid just keeps me coming back every time.
I do like the sphere grid a lot so far. And I'm so disappointed that I didn't realize what these extract powers were until literally this morning.
Oh, you really don't need those.
I'm not finding any ability spheres ever.
They're a little lean at the beginning, but at some point you'll be. I'm getting like 4 or 5 per battle at this point, and I'm maxed out at 100. Like there's just.
Oh man,
I'd say they're useful at the beginning though. When it's famine for those ability spheres at the beginning of the game,
That's
it was
true.
really nice to have that ability to get more of them, because here I am sitting, I'm like, I can't move on my grid until I unlock, these spells for Lulu. Or...
Yeah, and I was using the standard grid, which I think paces that stuff out a little bit better. So yeah,
and
you're right.
everything's so close.
There's a lot in that game that they just kind of don't explain, so don't feel... I still don't even know how to inspect equipment to tell me what each ability means. So, I don't know if you can even do that.
I don't know if you can. I just kind of...
I've been unlocking all sorts of celestial weapons, and I was like, Gillionaire, okay, I don't know what that is. I'll go look it up on GameFAQs. Oh, man.
there's my solution.
Is that guide good? I was thinking about picking it up.
It's... So, I'm going to be honest, like, where is it? Keep going, I'll
That thing is a very...
grab it.
So let's talk about some of the stuff that chat's been saying while we've been geeking out over Final Fantasy X. Other Jay-Z says, not loving anyone, a great path to failure, the Boston story. Yes, please learn from me. Don't use flee like it's your job as soon as Tidus gets it. Nobody wins that way. And the other Jay-Z says, nobody's going to mention that the antagonist is Sin. That doesn't seem heavy-handed at all. This game is like heavy-handed the RPG. So, yeah, it's not exactly the most even-handed of games. Okay, so Mina is holding up the guide and holding up,
like,
let's say like 50
this
pages here.
Yeah, of this guide right here, that's the story for Final Fantasy X.
Yeah.
Okay? And the rest of this in the front is just like
The intro
items, and then the back here is all of the extras, and then character biographies and stuff, and a bestiary. And then, so like all the other stuff not related to the story is actually more. And then the rest of this guide is 10-2.
I feel like I need to buy that guide for the 100% checklist on 10-2 that I'm hoping that guide has.
It does actually.
Yes.
It kind of breaks it down.
Good. I'll have to pick that up.
You know what they need? They need an iPhone version. They just need to release those guides for iPhone, so I can have it next to my Vita and just be like, oh, here's the 100% guide for Final Fantasy X. So
I
can play
am
it
more
once
than happy to pay for that. Oh man, I have these original guides back with my collection. Man, oh well, they're back in Ohio.
Honestly, funny story. Although I've never played those games before, I'm pretty sure I have the original guides.
Oh man, those original guides were good. I liked
They
those.
were good. I think those original guides are actually better than this. This feels very. It feels like it's missing stuff. I don't know why.
That
It just feels very small.
that looks like the size of my Final Fantasy 12 guide.
Yeah, that 12 guide is really
Yeah.
good. So, Mina, the only question I don't want to get down this rabbit hole too much, but the one question I have, do they have the Yojimbo math formula in there?
They, I don't know, because I see, I'm actually right in front of the Cloister of Trials for Bavel,
Mm-hmm.
so I haven't yet reached that part, and I've kind of been going along with this guide to see if I'm going to miss anything new, because I wasn't
Because
fully versed in
I
everything.
missed the destruction sphere at the very beginning at Besaid, so now I have to deal with Dark
Oh,
Valifor, and I'm way underleveled.
that's another thing I did on my stream. When you fight the Spheromorph
Mm-hmm.
at Macalania Woods and you get the Jex Sphere, I immediately backtracked all the way to Besaid because if you
Yeah.
don't grab that Jex Sphere at that time,
Yeah, I missed both of
you have
those things, and I'm just sort of like, man,
yeah,
should have done that.
I turned around and went right for that because I was like, I don't want to have to wait until I have to beat Dark Valfor.
Yeah.
Did you get Valfor's special
Nope.
over
Didn't
threat?
even get that.
Oh,
I missed everything.
oh.
Man,
Okay.
you guys are speaking a foreign language to me
Yeah,
right
welcome to
now.
the end of Final Fantasy X, where it's sort of like Final Fantasy X is a really linear game up until the end, where as soon as you get the airship, it's like, okay, now every place you went to has a crazy amount of cool stuff in it, so go crazy.
Well, and it's been so long since I played a Final Fantasy, but in playing 10, most of them I played were 10 and before. It occurred to me, I was like, why was everyone complaining about linearity on 13? That's what they've always done, like
Yeah,
introducing these new elements through the whole game. And maybe at 40 hours it'll let you go and
yeah,
do another
that's the weird thing
70
about
hours in side quests.
yeah, that's the weird thing about 10 is it you kind of march your way all the way through, and then once it opens up, you get like 50 more hours of game to do. You don't really even have to do any of it. If you get to that point, you can probably beat the final boss with some difficulty. I mean, it's not exactly easy, um, but there's just a metric ton of stuff to do in that game.
Yeah. Honestly, I think the only one that was really open near the beginning was probably 12, but it's been so long since I started that game that I could be entirely wrong.
12 gets pretty open after I think it's about the first hour or two. The real openness is when you fight that first T-Rex and you're like, oh cool, a T-Rex. Oh wait, I'm dead.
Yeah. Because like 7, you spend like 20 hours in Midgard or something
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Tenchi Hawkwing in chat says, I think only 10 and 13 are really as linear as that. Yeah, I think 7, once you get out of Midgar, it's pretty open, and all the other ones, 8 and 9 and all those sort of modern Final Fantasies kind of dump you in the world, and they're like, all right, enjoy.
So I found Yojimbo in here, and it does explain how to get the cheapest offer out of him.
Nice.
So
Yeah, I
it
managed to
is.
get him, and I just swallowed the cost, and I paid like 180,000. Um, but now I have to go through and do all of the favoritism stuff for Zanmato to try and do it against Dark Valfor.
Ah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, so Final Fantasy X. Sounds like we're all playing it and enjoying
Yeah,
it.
really,
We
really
are.
enjoying it.
And so it's
I did you guys buy both or did you
Oh,
both
I'm playing it
the-
on PS3, so I have both.
yeah, I just
I
bought the digital copy, so I have both.
yeah, I kind of wanted to bring up the whole the Vita actually has smaller load times. It's
Mhm.
actually a lot smoother. So that's something I've compared and I've noticed, and I don't know if anybody cares about that, but if you do, Vita's got that corner.
Oh, when you said both, you meant you bought both
Yeah,
for
because you're
PS3 and Vita.
Yeah, it does
You
have
were
cross
saying
save.
10 and 10 too. Okay.
Yeah, it does have cross save. So I mean, there is a real reason to buy both more than I want to have all of them like I do.
Yeah, I don't have the PS3 version. So.
Yeah, the PS3 version, I gotta give them a lot of credit. It's 1080p, it's full 60 frames. Load times are a little bit worse than they were before, but it's a beautiful game. They did a really great job on cleaning up the vast majority of that game. There's still some stuff where it's sort of like, oh, you didn't do anything to that texture model here in the game. That's a little weird, but the majority of it is really great looking.
See, my problem is the joke became reality for me, and that I never want to turn on my PS3 or 360 ever again now that
Yeah.
I have a
Oh, no.
PS4.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to have to. I mean, Persona 5, but yeah, that's where I'm at there.
Yeah, they're really good.
So, did you guys have anything else you wanted to say about that, or can I move on to the last
Oh,
game I had?
No, we're good. We could talk about Final Fantasy X for about 40 more hours, so.
So this next game I started on my lunch break at work, which I think was a mistake. And I'm really dumb, and I think I went into it not expecting a comedy, which I think really freaked me out a little bit more at first. And I started playing the demo for Conception 2.
Oh, no.
So if you're not familiar with this game, there have been some articles about it. Kind of the outside perception of the game is that you are a male character going to school and you recruit female characters for classmating to produce star children.
Sounds good so far.
Go and then you go and cruise the dungeons with star children, and there was maybe some concern that the game was about reducing females to the mechanic of producing star children. All these females in the game, rest assured, have personalities, but this game is entirely about hooking up.
Yeah.
Which is it is what it is, I guess. I don't know. I haven't decided if how much it bothers me or if it does. I'm coming to terms with just how crazy it is. So like the story for the game is you have a symbol shown up on your hand, which means you get to go to this special school to do this kind of recruiting and training. And it turns out that you have a higher ether count than anyone else ever. So,
Go figure.
Everyone's thanking God for you, and you very quickly earn the nickname God's Gift.
Okay.
Which is awesome because they abbreviate it as GG, and people call you GG all the time.
Amazing.
I like it.
It's pretty over the top. Sorry. Fourth wall breaking, headphones falling apart. They don't actually explain what classmating is ever in the demo that I found.
Oh,
Maybe
they
you
actually
found
do. I found it. So they actually do explain what it is. It's basically they hold hands and they think about the other person, and their emotions or whatever, I guess, transfer over into the Star Children, which is why becoming closer to them produces better Star Children or whatever. That's the whole reason why you engage in the social outings, so that way when you hold hands and think about each other, your Star Children are stronger.
I must have missed that. The story is like super over the top and goofy.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. Was even Atlas was sort of like, look, guys, let's all not take this seriously.
Yeah,
because I thought when you started talking about it, I was just like, man, he started Final Fantasy X too, and we're gonna have an argument about J-pop.
We're gonna have to argue.
Yeah, we're gonna have to fight because I love 10 too.
I don't. 10-2 doesn't offend me. I like J-pop.
I've been thrown down at work all week because people are like, stick to Final Fantasy X and J-pop, and I was like, no, we're talking about this.
You kidding me? I own Persona music that I listen to.
That's true. That's fair.
Right? And really, the music they play, like The part that freaked me out at work playing this was the first classmating session, because I didn't know what it was going to be, and all of a sudden you see this female pink outline of possibly a naked body, like reach out with a hand, and I might automatically jerk it, like I move my position, like
Yeah, and you're just like,
I'm
oh,
watching
don't-
something
nobody look at me.
inappropriate. Yeah, pretty much.
Oh man.
It's like a Sailor Moon sort of thing. The way they, it reminds me of Sailor Moon for some reason when she's doing that pink outline thing, and
Oh,
they
okay.
kind of.
That makes sense.
The music
Girl.
for that session, I think, is amazing because
No!
it's this J-pop elevator funk music. Like,
Did you hear the lyrics?
I guess not.
Oh my gosh, the lyrics make it. I cry tears and laugh when I hear it. So like, I can't do the actual song and emotion here, but it says congratulations on your new arrival, and it repeats that over and
Oh,
over and
no.
over, and it's so funny. I can't take it because I'm trying to pick the Star Child's class and pick its name or whatever, and it's just saying congratulations on your new arrival.
Oh,
I'm like, this is so stupid. I can't take it.
I had this pre-ordered because it's an Atlas game, and I have to pre-order all of those. But now I want to play it even more because it sounds like it's just so unbelievably dumb that I really have to experience this.
And there's some aspects of it about it that we haven't talked, technical aspects that I really, really like a lot. Like I'm so used to my JRPGs, you get your kind of cardboard outlines that blink at you occasionally, and then they switch cardboard outlines for facial expressions. This one animates them between those, and it actually has them move their arms, and
You're playing on
They have
the
kind of
Vita,
a-
right?
yes.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
my impression that the 3DS version is a little bit different, and some of the character portrait stuff animates a little differently. But I don't think it's major.
Well, I would, as much as I like all those aspects of it too. Am I still online? Okay.
Yeah,
good.
you're good.
Yes.
Internet blinked for a second. They do have some DOA physics going on, so just word of warning.
Ah,
Yeah.
The first time it happened, because it was like a card, the portrait like coming from off screen on, like that actually kind of made me laugh a whole lot, to be honest with you. But it's like the graphics and like the style of the game, I think, are really, really good. I think it probably has a little bit too much menu-itis going on. Because they have so many systems for the combat in it, like number systems, and none of them seem to really matter through what I played. Because I beat the demo earlier today, and I don't like you're supposed to, like, the big deal about you doing Ether is that you were supposed to be able to expand your Ether so you guys can explore these monster dens and kind of kill the main monster from coming out. And I never, like, in the tutorial, they're like, yeah, sometimes this monster will do this, and then you'll have to use your ether releasing power, and then you guys can, like, I guess it affects how often your guys can go on battle. And I never had to mess with that. The battle system, I think, is fascinating, but it didn't do anything that required me to really think about it too much. But basically, each opponent has 4 directions you can attack from. Generally, at least one of those will be a critical spot, but if you elect not to do a critical spot, then you'll build up your chain meter faster, and your chain meter, I guess, gives you chain attacks. I never really followed the chain thing, because it only took 1 or 2 critical attacks to kill everything. So I kind of quickly forgot whatever that amounted to. Your party, kind of, whichever angle you attack the enemy from, like the boss I fought, he would attack all the squares except for the one behind him. So if you put your 2 groups behind him, they would never get hit. But timing sometimes would work against you there. Your 2 groups, of course, are you and the heroine you go into the dungeon with, and then your Star Children. You can only have Star Children in groups of 3, and all the Star Children are these basically chibi versions of the females you're with. And they have at least a dozen classes that look like they'll be a lot of fun to kind of go through. But evidently all the Star Children get like major benefits from going into the dungeons with whoever their mom is. But I found that out after I went into the dungeon with my teacher, which I guess I regret. But I don't know. I think it's safe to say if you don't like anime or comedy in anime, then you will absolutely despise this game.
Yeah, that's kind of the impression that I got.
I don't know. I'm on the verge of buying it. It's the part that almost lost me was when it started explaining the touching mechanics, which I never had to do in game, so I don't know how bad they get. But one of those circles was kind of drawn somewhere.
So
I mean, I'm a 33-year-old man. I don't. It's a little weird playing the game.
I've played a lot of these Japanese games, and what do they always call it? It's like a touch bonding system where you kind of like poke their face or whatever, and this game has it. It's in a lot of more weird Japanese dating sim sort of games. I recognized it and just moved on. There's I wanted to point out that there's 30 classes that the Star Children can be.
Wow.
I don't know if you'd known about them. There's things like blacksmith, archer, diva. There's quite a few. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing all those classes because I really want to see how they all work and mix.
Well, and like my big question right now in the game is, and you may already know the answer to this since I evidently just wasn't paying attention through most of this. Like, should you just pick one chick and just have a bunch of Star Children with her? Okay.
No. Well, so each of the girls has like pluses and minuses to their overall stat. So, for example, the girl Narika, she was the dark blue-haired vice president girl. She has a really high tech, but her speed stat and a lot of her other stats are not very good. And the only thing I know about tech is that it's good for aiming, which I never had any problem in the game. And some girls have high speed, or this one girl that wasn't in the demo has really high defenses. So in order for you to get some of the classes, kind of like Etrian Odyssey, you had to have kind of like a minimum of certain stats in order to become that class or whatever. Like I guess more like D&D. I'm just trying to think. So you had to actually reach like a stat limit in order to unlock a class. So I don't know if you had like maybe you made one Star Child that was able to be like certain classes, and then you made another Star Child with a different girl, and it was able to unlock other classes. Because I had one character that could unlock some sort of archer, gun shooter class, gunslinger, and then the other class had you're welcome. The other class had like all these mages. So it's probably not a good idea to stick to only one girl. It's probably useful to spread them around.
This is easily the weirdest conversation we've had on this show.
I know. I'm trying to be nice about it.
Don't listen to Pup's dating advice. That's for sure.
At the very least, the one girl is very much of a tank, so all of her children are probably going to be able to be really good tanks. So I don't think.
And how many like kids can you have in your inventory too? That would be the other question.
I actually don't know that. I have no
Like,
idea.
If there's 30 classes, then I would want What's 30 divided by 3? I'd want 10 spots at least.
So I do know that you could have like you set up a bunch of different parties and stuff inside your dorm room. I didn't really explore too much uh in this game as much as it sounds like I have. I actually haven't. But that game's coming out real soon, isn't it? Like in like 10 days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's surprisingly very soon.
It's
So
it'll be.
we'll have more to talk about it next time.
Oh man, yeah. I don't really have anything else to say about it. uh, yeah, that's all
I
my
guess
games.
You didn't play it, Boston, did you?
No, no, I haven't had a chance to yet. I think I downloaded it on my Vita, but I haven't had a chance.
If
All right, Mina,
oh,
what else have you been playing this past month?
sure. Before I leave off on the Conception 2 demo, make sure if you're going to get the demo and you have both a Vita and a 3DS to try it out on the Vita because it has more content. So
Yeah, and I think on both your save transfers into the final game, and you get some sort of bonus, but I don't know what that is.
yeah, don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So the first game I started out on this month was Tales of Symphonia since I dropped Zelia. And something about Symphonia I had completely forgotten, or my memory kind of pushed it out of the way, was that the camera controls are awful.
Garbaggio.
Like, nostalgia apparently has covered up my memory of the camera controls because it does not want to work with me. And it's very frustrating, and it did get better once you get to the point in the game where you have another means of transportation, because then the camera pulls back a little, because it kind of feels like you're like right on top of yourself,
Oh, yeah.
and the camera's just bouncing up and down, but you can't see the enemies on the screen, and they just kind of rush at you, or you can't really see where you're going. It's very frustrating. I hate that camera a lot. If I didn't know where I was going, I'd be more frustrated. Something I did to myself on that game was I started it on hard, and the first battle I died, and I decided I probably need to lower the difficulty. I ended that game after I'd gotten all the characters back, and they're all in my party, and we're now able to travel wherever we wanted, and that's pretty much where I put the game down, because South Park: Stick of Truth and Final Fantasy X came out, and I was kind of like, I don't want to play this anymore. So I'll go back to that eventually, I'm sure. At the very least, I really wanted to collect all the trophies in that game. Because I don't know why, but I want those trophies.
Yeah.
We already talked about 4 of the games I had on my list. I played some Final Fantasy X too, but
Yeah, I
I
started
didn't.
it for like 20 minutes.
Okay, like I started it and I completed the first little part of the game, and then
Mhm.
you get on the airship, and that's where you're like, doing your meeting everybody on the airship, and I talked to Shinra, and he's like, "Oh, you want to try out this monster arena thing?"
That's where
And
I
I was
got
like,
to too, and I was like, I don't remember that. Sure.
"That's new. That's new."
Yeah.
So I have a lot of hours in this monster arena thing
Mm.
because you capture monsters and you fight against other monsters in the monster arena, and they level up, and they have the dress spheres like your like your girls,
Yeah.
and I am obsessed with that whole aspect
That's
of
going to
the
be my
game.
downfall. Just hearing about it, I was like, okay, now I have to do 100% of that.
Oh, so like I eventually got this Tonberry. I captured this Tonberry, and I'm so excited about this Tonberry. Uh, he walks up and he's got death touch, I guess. So like occasionally when he stabs things with his little knife, which is adorable, things just die. And I love that Tonberry. And the other thing about it is when they level, you unlock their little story.
Yeah, which seemed interesting.
And each of those stories has like a little ending, warning about that. Some of the stories, when you complete them and such, and release them back into the wild, they unlock harder monsters in the arena to fight.
Oh.
So you might end up hurting yourself in the long run with that. Another thing is if you want to go for completion on the monsters and everything, you don't want to get Yuna, Pain, and Riku to max level because in order for you to unlock their stories, I think they have to go up at least like a certain amount of levels, and all the monsters are captured at the level of the average between Yuna, Riku, and Pain.
Oh, weird.
So yeah, so if for example mine are level 3, 3, and 2, I think Riku and Pain are level 3 and Yuna's level 2.
Oh, okay.
All the monsters I've been capturing are level 3, and that means I only have to level them to like level 6 or 7 or something like that in order to unlock all their stuff, which is really good because that's really fast and quick, and I can unlock all their stories and oh, you get bonus rewards and stuff too, like accessories, which are really, really strong
Wow.
for the beginning of the game. I've got accessories that are doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Man.
Oh, and feeding your monsters items and stuff unlocks spells and abilities and all sorts of things. So like if you feed them like a couple of potions, they learn Cura. If you feed them you know, all those things. Well, the only thing that's about these monsters is that you don't actually control them. They're completely AI driven.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of do whatever they want. And the only thing you can really do is move your control stick either left or right and make them more aggressive or less aggressive, I guess, which I haven't fully experimented because I've
there's
never...
like this weird scale of conservative or aggressive. It's weird.
So I haven't fully experimented on that, but I've spent way too much time on the 10-2 monster battle stuff. I've probably put in, I'm scared to look at the time, like a lot of hours. And I haven't, I'm right there at the airship, probably not even 10 minutes into the game, and I'm just stuck there, just leveling monsters.
I just 10-2 is one of my favorite Final Fantasies. I think it's nearly the perfect game, and for it to add more cool stuff like that, that's why I stopped playing 10-2 after like that first 10 minutes, and I was just like, no, I can't. I love everything about this game, and I have to finish 10 first.
That's kind of why I haven't really moved on to, is I really want to finish 10, and then I can dive into 10-2 and force all my streamers to watch me do that.
Ha 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 ha.
Yeah. So 10-2 is really great, and even if you don't care about the monster arena thing, you probably want to do at least, I don't remember how many battles or how many times you need to win the arena, but you unlock one of the new outfits.
I think you get one at 1 win and 3 wins, if I remember.
Yeah.
I think I saw something online. It was one. You get 1 at your first win, and then once you hit 3 wins, you get some outfit that's apparently super, super powerful.
It's crazy. It's psychic, and you basically learn an ability that can one-shot anything.
Great.
So if you're just like, I don't care, just that's the one. So and the other outfit you get from, I think, just talking to Brother, and that's the Festivalist or something like that. Those are the 2 new dress spheres that weren't in the original 10-2. So that's pretty much all of 10-2 I played. I played more Bravely Default. I I have gotten to the part of the game where I like not spoiling anything. I'm doing all the optional bosses.
Oh yeah.
I am struggling to beat some of these optional bosses, and I'm not bummed out about it that much. It's just kind of like my strategy for the bosses just have changed, so I just need to work my way around that. I'm pretty sure I'm very close to the end of the game now on Bravely Default.
Yeah.
Um, Still really good. The only want to say about Bravely Default that's not necessarily related to the game is actually more about Square Enix. How the sales of Bravely Default over here in the West have actually changed their thinking about RPGs.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
Oh, okay, so you've read about that.
Yeah.
Um, they were kind of surprised at how well we embraced this game that they are rethinking about how they're releasing RPGs over here.
Mhm.
So, um, that's always a good thing for RPG lovers.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if you want to see more great Square RPGs, buy Bravely Default, because apparently it sort of woke them up where it's like, oh yeah, they do like her. Okay, RPGs, yeah.
So, not only is it a good RPG, it apparently is going to make Square Enix bring more of them over.
Yeah.
That's always good. Um, the other game I've been playing still is Persona 3 Portable with a bunch of my friends, and we've now gotten to the part where you have to fight the chariot and whatever the other one is, the
Oh.
tank. I can't remember what the other one is. That's where we're all at. So
Ugh.
we've been basically pacing ourselves to get to each moon event every weekend,
Yeah.
and that way we keep at a nice steady, you know, do X amount of days, which is the next moon event, and then we can just keep up with each other on that. So, not much to say about that, really. I think we talk about Persona 3 enough.
Yeah. It's still really
But
good.
it is really good. I'm really happy I'm playing it, especially with people who haven't beaten it before. So that's always good. And the last thing I've been playing, actually I started. I never played Diablo 3.
Oh.
So before the Reaper of Souls came out, they had like 100 times XP thing going on,
Yeah.
where I may have leveled 3 characters to the max level in a weekend.
There's no shame in that.
Crap.
It was basically double XP for like a week or two. So
Yeah,
yeah, that
I
game
did it.
that game is pretty generous with XP to begin with. So I don't think that's crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't crazy at all. Uh, and then 2 days after Reaper of Souls came out, I believe we beat Reaper of Souls. But so I really enjoyed Diablo 3, and I did dabble in it a little before the game actually hit the Loot 2.0. Like I played maybe a little bit, and I was very frustrated with a lot of things about the game, which I believe directly stemmed from basically the loot. A loot-based game where you're not really getting loot is probably super frustrating. It's like if we were trying to play Borderlands and they never dropped any weapons ever.
Yeah.
So that when Loot 2.0 came out, the game instantly changed from something I didn't like to something I did like.
Yeah.
Because at least there was some sort of, carrot on the stick. I get a really cool weapon or something, or a new cool piece of armor that I can actually use that's relevant to my character. And I don't know. So I really like Diablo 3 now. Something I've been talking about with others, and something that Jay-Z mentioned about Torchlight 2 and Diablo 3 is I probably like Torchlight 2 better as a single player, and I wonder if I would actually like it better as a multiplayer as well if the whole system worked better.
Yeah.
I wonder if I would like that more. But Diablo 3 has an amazing drop in, drop out system,
Yeah,
which
it works
makes
really well.
it's so smooth. And I can tell when my friends are playing, and I can jump right into their game. I can see what sort of levels they got going on in there. I can see what, like, everything about going on in their game, and I can just jump in, and it's easy.
Hmm.
And it's not frustrating, and I enjoy it. And maybe when Torchlight 3 comes out, they can look at Diablo 3's multiplayer system and adapt that.
That'd be nice.
And maybe that would be really great. I approve of that. And I think Musim wants to talk about something that came out that he might have not remembered earlier. You don't want to talk about...
What are we? I'm sorry. I was in the
Oh,
chat blabbing about how I haven't played Dark Souls 2, but
Oh,
yet I
you
did.
haven't played it.
Yeah, chat,
No.
chat really wants us to
I-
talk about Dark Souls 2, but I'm waiting for the PC version. I already have it pre-ordered, so I
I was just showing off my giant collector's edition that I paid for, even though I'm not going to play this game for probably until I beat Dark Souls 1, and who knows when that's going to be. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on your time at all.
No,
Nina.
I saw it and I was like, I thought you wanted to talk about it and you'd forgotten.
No.
I didn't buy
No,
Dark
I'm
Souls.
being obnoxious.
And it looks like Boston didn't buy it yet. He's waiting on the PC version.
yep,
So
I got it pre-ordered, so it just needs to come out on Steam, and it'll be in my account.
so that's the last game I played.
We already talked about all of the games I played this month, so we've been
no.
recording for approximately forever. So let's take our first break here.
All
Okay.
right.
Oh, that feels better. Oh man. Hopefully we can finish up this next segment so I can clean the house and then go back to Final Fantasy X.
Yeah.
I still have so much to do.
I just really want to beat 10 now so that way I can play 10 too.
Yeah, I forgot how long 10 is. I mean, it's such a... I was telling my girlfriend this morning, it's just such a good value at $40 to get 10, which if you're going to go for the platinum is like 80 to 100 hours. And then 10-2 is... I don't even remember how long. I'm not going to do 100% my first run through because I want to enjoy it for the first time. And then I'll probably do a new game plus to get the 100% after that.
Yeah.
Because I forgot how exacting it is, where it's like, okay, go here and talk to this person 3 times, but don't talk to this person, but go use this item. You know, don't skip any of this dude's conversations. You know, all this weird stuff. Oh, and if anyone wants to buy the Final Fantasy X or X-2 guide off Amazon, don't, because it won't ship for 3 months.
Yeah.
So I gotta find somewhere to buy that. Oops.
I'm feeling bad.
What
for
you
not
got
having
over there?
taken this statue out yet. Oh man, I thought this would be bad plastic. Well, okay, it's a little bit bad plastic.
Probably not as bad as the Titanfall Collector's Edition.
I haven't, honestly, the pictures of the Titanfall thing look awesome,
It's-
but for $250, that thing
It's-
better be made out of marble.
Nope, it is. It is unfortunately really thin plastic.
Oh no.
It's really kind of a bummer. Thankfully, I didn't purchase it. Someone at work did, and they're like, "This thing kind of stinks. Let's keep it at work." It's like, okay. Thanks, I guess.
I didn't realize this knight just came with 2 swords. Man, he's gonna die quick.
Yeah.
How in the heck do I get these put? Oh. I see.
Haha.
I figured it out. Okay.
The true Dark
Let's
Souls
see.
starts here.
Yeah, pretty much. I probably need to at least install it and redeem my codes before some hacker does.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm always paranoid about that. Man, I thought I had it.
All
You
right.
see, I've been jealous ever since I saw the special one that was given to, I think, one of the Sony heads. He posted a picture, and it came with like 6 different weapons and a shield, and I'm like,
Lame.
come on, man. Anyway, sorry.
All right, you guys ready to knock out the rest of the show here?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm good.
Alrighty, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk RPG releases for April 2014. We have Ragnarok Odyssey Ace coming out for the PS3 and the PS Vita on April 1st. I really don't know too much about that, but I'm assuming it's more Ragnarok Odyssey.
Yeah.
More
Yeah.
stuff. If you liked it before, now it's got more.
I've just accepted that unless one of you guys just plays it and crows about a Ragnarok game, I will probably not experience that franchise.
Yeah.
sorry.
We actually have 2 PS2 classic Atlas games, both of which you should check out. SMT Devil Summoner Raido Kuzunoa versus the Soulless Army is out now for PS3. It's a PS2 classic. You should play that. It's very short. And it's really very good. And the second game is way better. Those are 2 of my favorite PS2 RPGs, and they were a very small print run, and not enough people played them. Very, very cool games. And Persona 4 comes out as a PS2 classic on the 8th. So coming up this week here, you get the original Persona 4, which is very good. If you don't have a Vita and didn't have a PS2 for some reason, and you're an RPG fan, go download it on your PS3. It's one of the best RPGs you can play. So, and it's probably pretty cheap. So, good stuff. Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn comes out on PS4 this week, so go pick that up. It's probably pretty good on PS4, I'm assuming. Conception 2: Children of the Seven Stars comes out PS4 and 3DS on the 15th. You already heard all about that thing. Dark Souls 2 comes out on PC on the 25th. Demon Gaze comes out on the PS Vita on the 22nd. This is a Nippon Ichi game, so I don't know what this is, but I'm going to assume it's probably some sort of strategy RPG.
Probably a safe assumption, yes.
Yeah. Child of Light comes out on PC, PS3, PS4, 360, Xbox One, and Wii U on the 30th.
On everything.
That game
I'll
looks
be
super cool, and I think it's
I'll be-
10 or 15 bucks.
Yeah, I'm getting that.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that one. And the physical version of Steins Gate, the much anticipated real final English translation of this famous visual novel, comes out physically on the PC on the 30th. It's out right now digitally. You can buy it from the JAST store, I think is where you get that. It's not on Steam. They're looking into it. So, boy, that's a month that's really just going to make me incredibly poor. So, yay, RPGs! Woo! All right, let's move on to news stories. Not a ton happened. We already talked about the Square Enix remembering that the West loves good RPGs. But they just somehow still aren't bringing out Final Fantasy Type 0, but if you want to play that game, the fan translation finally comes out in August. They released a trailer for it, and they showed a whole bunch of screenshots of it, and the translation actually looks really, really good. They did a lot of really fantastic work on the PSP version, and don't forget, you can still buy it from Japan for relatively cheap if you want to be on the up and up for the fan translation. Hopefully they announce a Vita remake of that and bring it out over here. I would really like to play that.
Me too.
That game looks really good, and I don't read Japanese, so alas. And one of the biggest surprises for me lately is that Costume Quest is getting a sequel. coming out Halloween 2014 for PC and maybe PS4 and Xbox One. I think we've always said on this show that Costume Quest is a really good starter RPG. It's very friendly. It has a very similar battle system to the Super Mario RPG games, where it's a little bit more interactive. I'm really glad to see them coming out with a sequel there. It's going to follow the same two characters in Halloween the next year after the events of the first game. That game was fun, and that game was short, and it was cheap, and it was really good. So I'm glad to see them coming out with another one.
Didn't you guys ever play the DLC?
I started it, but I ran into that bug on the 360 version where it was something like it didn't carry over some of your progress, and I wasn't in the mood to restart it, so I never played through it.
I didn't play
that'd
the
do
DLC.
Yeah, it seemed pretty good, and they squashed that bug They squashed that bug if you start a new game, so you won't really run into it anymore. But yeah, that game was really good. That DLC seemed really fun because it was a Christmas themed Halloween DLC, so it was kind of interesting. But that's all the news stories we have, and let me check our emails here. The only tweet we got this week was from the other Jay-Z asking if we had played Dark Souls 2, and regrettably not yet.
We should.
Oh, we got an email here. Let me,
Yay!
Oh, it's a long one. Okay. This comes from Chris H. Hey, Boss Musum and Minako. We'll just go with this since I haven't read it. Angela here. Oh, hey, Angela. To start out, Minako, once again, you make a great addition to the party.
Yay! Thank you.
I have a few things to ask you, fine fellows. I have limited it down to the 7 or 8 topics I had in mind earlier. After hearing Boston go on and on about Persona for the last year, I decided to pick up P4G early last month. It hasn't left my Vita since I got it. Yay! This game is wonderful. Why don't more games do their pacing like this? A year and you play day by day, give or take a few. Characters have a good amount of depth to them, and I love spending time with them, probably more than the turn-based combat part of the game. Yeah, me too. At 25 hours in, I've just gotten to the second term. Upon putting about 3 hours in, I had to check if I could pre-order 5 yet. Sadly, no. So question, what licensed game do you think would have been better using mechanics from another game? His example, Harry Potter would have made a great Persona game, which, yeah. And they made...
Yeah, I could see that.
They made... I was just looking through my collection the other day, and I bought... on the 360, they came out with Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, which had this open world, totally... you could wander around Hogwarts completely and go to classes and stuff like that. That was probably the closest we'd gotten to it, and that game was really good. Yeah, what licensed game do you think would have been better using mechanics from another game? Oh, good question.
See, now all I'm doing in my head is throwing every game into Persona. I'm like, let's take let's do Game of Thrones Persona style, and your main character will die every month, and you'll be someone new. Let's do Mass Effect Persona style.
Yeah.
Man, that's how the Mass Effect, the Citadel, Shepard and Garrus hanging out. That'll be your school will be the police officer place, and
you're just walking around the Citadel, going on a date,
solving the murder. Yeah.
Yep.
That worked.
Date with Rex and Garrus.
Yeah. That'd be great. Excuse me.
Oh.
Now I don't know if I could beat that.
You have a little pet, like robot dog, except that it's like a Reaper. That'd be great.
That'd be great.
Oh, I don't know. There's been a lot of times where I've had battle systems that didn't click with me, and I would want them to go switch it to something else, like Final Fantasy 13. I would want any other battle system on this planet than what it is. I would wish for anything besides what it was.
Yeah.
If we could do dress spheres again with that, please, that would be
Yeah,
so
I'd be
much
down
better.
for that.
Sphere grid. I hated the combat so much in that game.
Yeah, it's exceptionally bad.
Okay, I
It's
got
so
another idea.
slow.
Okay.
Take all the Final Fantasy characters from all the games, put them into a high school, make it like Persona, so that they're all in cliques. I want to see Cloud and Squall lip off to each other.
You know, I would. We got pretty
and then
close.
get detention.
We got pretty close in Kingdom Hearts, but I would wholeheartedly pay for that game.
Yeah.
Man. All right, moving on to Angel Eye's other questions here. So I have put more time into my Vita this year than both my PS3 and 4, thanks to remote play. Why use the TV? Great question. Remote play usually works really well. I still use the consoles for streaming services, but not games. But games not so much thus far. This is a good thing for the Vita, in my opinion, to an extent. However, I can see remote play hurting the Vita when it comes to exclusive titles. I mean, why make a Vita game when you can make a PS4 game and have a bigger audience? Yeah, I think, that's a good question. I think cross-buy and cross-save also, look at Fez that just came out. You buy one copy and it plays on PS3, PS4, and Vita, and it cross-saves between all three of them. So, yeah, I mean, if you can make one copy of a game and charge a little more for it and have it work on 3 platforms, doesn't everybody win?
Also, keep in mind on Vita, your 2 shoulder buttons short, and the sticks aren't buttons themselves. So, like Warframe, for instance, it looks great on the Vita, but it plays terribly.
Yeah, yeah. Not a lot of devs have done what Ubisoft did with Assassin's Creed 4, where they remap the control scheme when you play via remote play. I think some devs haven't figured out that you need to do that. So, but that'll come with time.
Yeah, I really wanted Dark Souls 2 to come to PS4 so I could remote play it.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love if Dark Souls 2 came to PS4 and Xbox One. That'd be
like
great.
Any game that I got to do any sort of grinding on ever, I want it on a handheld.
Yeah, exactly. All right, one more question here. It says, one more topic. You once had an anime discussion on here, and I've been watching anime more often lately. Maybe you could give me some titles to check out. I've been watching Ergo Proxy, Rin, Daughters of Nemesis, I don't know how to pronounce that, and Blue Drop lately, along with rewatching my favorite anime, Ghost in the Shell. When you're not slaying monsters, what is your party watch for some R&R? I mean, if you haven't watched Cowboy Bebop and Trigun, go watch both of those.
Trying to think of the last anime I watched through.
We were talking about this at work the other day, and I couldn't remember. I think my last one was Eden of the East.
Yeah.
That one was good.
And I haven't watched the latest one of that yet.
Yeah, I haven't. I'm like a movie and a season behind.
I still like Berserk an awful lot, but I'm like I read the manga a bunch on that, and Knobs will kill me, but I just like the Golden Age is really the best arc in that series.
Yeah.
Sorry, Knobs. Not that
he's not listening.
Will ever
to the
watch
show
or
anyway.
listen to this anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know for any of the modern anime. I haven't really watched any lately, except for the Ava movies, which I don't know if I can recommend if you want to save your sanity. But I enjoy a lot of the classic ones.
Susie adores the Hostess Club.
I've heard that's really good.
It seems really funny, but it's very much. Yeah, I mean, it's a comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, through and through. But it seems really funny. And they have a live action version of it, which is
oh man,
kind of scary.
Mina, any anime recommendations you have?
I read way more manga than I actually watch anime, and there's only one anime that I've seen recently, but the content is the characters dress kind of lewdly, and I would not recommend it on this podcast.
Kill la Kill?
It's Kill la Kill.
Yeah, that's apparently really... Who made that? Gainax?
Gainax.
There's another one. Gurren Lagann. I
It-
really liked that show. That's probably one of the
It's
last big ones I watched, but it's all the way crazy.
yeah, Kill la Kill's really good, but uh it's got content in there that I wouldn't recommend younger
Well,
ages.
Yeah.
the guy said he was watching Ren, and from what I've
Well,
heard about
that's
Ren,
true.
is that
Yeah. If you don't mind
that has
scantily
some
clad
lines.
heroes, then
Okay.
Kill la Kill's probably okay.
Scantily clad, lots of references to stuff. It's definitely for a more mature audience, but it's pretty funny, and as long as you don't take it too seriously and you just kind of go
Yeah.
along for the ride, it's actually pretty enjoyable.
And I would actually recommend, I can't believe I forgot it, my favorite series of all time, if you have a fairly open mind, Fooly Cooly, FLCL. It's only 6 episodes, 3 hours total, but it's some of the best animation. Oh, and watch the movie that everybody loves because it's amazing, Summer Wars. If you haven't watched that and you like anime, absolutely have to go watch that.
Oh yeah, I
My
completely
girlfriend is
forgot. I'm a
yelling from the
Gundam.
other room. It's so good. See, everybody loves it.
I completely forgot. I'm a Gundam fanboy.
Oh, there you go. You have about, if you start
Uh,
watching now, in 20 years, you'll finish it all.
There you go.
pretty much. Like the series that are highlights would be like 0080, 0084, 00. If you want something real goofy, like super goofy, then G Gundams will fill that spot
Yeah.
because it's like I don't know. It's the Dragon Ball Z, I'll say, of the Gundam series. But 00 is probably one of the better ones, except for maybe second season. Anyway.
Yeah, so there's, I mean, I think if you don't mind watching older stuff, look up some lists of kind of the best anime, and kind of figure out how old you want to go back and watch. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the Tenchi series, but some of that stuff is starting to age a little bit. And even if you want to go watch Ranma One Half, that's even older. You might not be able to swallow some pre Cowboy Bebop stuff, but if you like any of that stuff, go look up
I approve.
some of the greatest anime series stuff, and you'll have a lot of stuff that's on Netflix now. So you don't really have to spend a lot of money to get it. That's I think that's it. Unless anyone has any last minute recommendations, big stuff. I think we kind of covered all the bases here. Thank you very much, everyone, for writing in and tweeting. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at pickingupthepixels.com. Tweet us at pickingupPixels. There's no the in there. And don't forget you can watch us live at twitch.tv/E1M1 Network, and everything else is on the right-hand side of the page. You can find Musum stuff at, if you like his music, which he does the music for this show, you can find it at listentomusum.com or musum.bandcamp.com, and listen to his podcast at thecarouselpodcast.com. And Mina, you can find her at twitch.tv/Minako Rocket. That's Minako Rocket. And I think that's it. Did I miss
What
anything?
about you?
Oh, for me,
TVGP.
my other show, that video game podcast, tvgp.tv. If you like video game music, dynamicsoundtrack.com. That stuff is still out there. There's 30-something episodes to listen to. And thank you very much for joining me again, Musum and Mina.
Thank
you for having us.
And our adventure continues next month. Alrighty.
Okay.
My voice
I think
is...
we've discovered I cannot multitask.
Alright, thank you very much, everyone, for watching. We'll see you all next month. Bye.
Bye.